Alright, so we're going to be changing out a turbo coolant line on this 2012 f550 with a 6.7 liter power stroke. So first thing I did was drain a bunch of coolant out. Here's the little coolant drain. Let's see. Yep, right there. See it? Just turn it counterclockwise and then it comes out. Hopefully I don't have any problems with the O-rings sealing back up, because I've had that happen before. So next thing we're gonna have to do is take this upper intake off. Alright, so all these little bolts are 8mm, and I think there's like 12 of them. I'll have to cut the zip tie. And actually, I don't have to cut that zip tie. Just gonna kind of loosen this stuff up. So that one was loose. Some down there. That off. So I'll have to take the dipsticks loose. Bolt back here to them. I have to say, this is definitely a very efficient use of space. Alright, so I'm going to take all these bolts off and I'll come back once I get them all loosened up, and we can pull this intake out. Alright, so I got all the screws out. There's 2 back there, 2 here, 2 there, 3 here, 1 there, 1 there, 2 there. There's 2 bolts that are on the dipsticks. The oil dipstick bolts to the intake, and the transmission dipstick bolts to the oil dipstick. So you got to take both bolts out so you can get that one out there. So now I took all the screws out, and you can kind of see in the top here I have them oriented in the fashion that they came out, so I know how to put them back in. Some of them are different lengths, so you're going to want to make sure they're in the correct spot. So broke this loose. Now I get to play the wiggle game. Let's see if we can get it out of this hole, because it's in there pretty good. So I got this one out also. The one on the other side didn't want to come out because it was hitting the firewall. I gotta make sure I put that one back in before I get it back in place, because it probably, well, let's see if it'll go back in. I don't want to be handcuffed with it out and not be able to get it back in. Alright, so that one will come out too. So basically all but that back one over there came out. I mean, you might be able to leave them in there, but I'm not going to. I got some soot already. I'm sure that's going to be all caked up with soot in there. Too hard on things and break them. I think some years you actually have to take this cowl off, but this one's flat up against it, so I can't see that having to come off. I don't think it'd make a difference. There's some trick to this that I don't know yet. There we go. That's a tight squeeze. So, oh yeah, you got some crap up in that intake. There you go. There's your EGR system right there. That is something else. So I'll probably get a vacuum and try to get as much of that as I can with a vacuum. Kind of break it up and then suck it out, and hopefully giant pieces don't go clogging things up, because yeah, that's gonna be an issue. So this is the line we're changing right here. It's leaking at the fitting, obviously you could see. So we gotta pull that out. It's a pretty small line, it just runs right into the back of the engine right here. So it's not a huge deal. Just getting to it, I guess. Alright. Wow. You know, all this engine, it looks like, wow, that engine's huge. It's just crap on top of it. I mean, you get the EGR cooler over here up on top. Some plastic crap over there. The intake's up high in the front. But other than that, I mean, the engine's pretty far down there. Once you actually start getting to it. So I believe this line is an oil line. And this is obviously the coolant line we gotta change. So we gotta take a pick. And we gotta get this cover off here. If I can get it off. Oh, so I gotta get that cover off. And then there's gonna be an E-clip underneath that we gotta get out. And then we can take that fitting out. And then there is a hose clamp on this end. Just around a little rubber hose. And then we can get that line out. So, see, there's your leak and fitting. I think that's 17mm. And then the line just kind of comes into the intake straight back to right there, that rubber hose by the green tag. So that's the task at the moment. I mean, you can see that's how much soot has been re-sucked through this engine. It's here. It's over here. You got chunks sitting right there, and the same thing over there, and it's all inside the intake too. I believe this truck has 78,000 miles on it, or something of that nature. It's not a ton. So that's what we're gonna do. Alright. So I actually got lucky. I just took a pair of these. I squeezed them around that hose clamp right at the bottom, so the little ears are sticking up, and it squeezed just right, and it relocked the hose clamp. Because these are the kind that have the little pins in them in the holes, so they kind of lock open. And ended up relocking. Pretty easy. Like, wow, that's nice. So, let me get this little plastic protector thing up. And inside, they sell a tool that goes in there. It's got little reliefs cuts in there. It's kind of like a line disconnect tool. It goes in there and then you turn it and it opens up those ears, but I do not have that tool, so I'm going to just kind of work the little clip out. I mean, to be perfectly honest, if you're not saving the line, you could probably just cut the line off and then just use a socket to get it out and not even mess around with this. I'm getting my head in the way, but I apologize. So here's a little clip. Put it up here. This line should just pull out. Hopefully I let enough coolant out, and I did. So there's that. I gotta get one of those top side creepers, because this is very uncomfortable sitting on this cowl across this crap here. So I don't know if you can see. about to. Anyway, so here's the hose down here. I'm just gonna kind of get in the way so no one could see nothing. Let's see. Maybe I can stick this back in there. I can grab around this hose. Maybe I can pull it back. Trying to be careful because all the injector lines are right here. You probably don't want to go ripping on the injector line or prying against them. Alright, so let's see. So, see with screwdrivers, I'm just kind of pulling between there and twisting the line to try to get the brake loose, and then just pulling off. And yeah, so that's how I'm getting it off. I'm just kind of pulling at it and turning it and prying at the rubber piece of line. I'm not just like stabbing into it because I don't want to damage it, because I don't have another one, but that's what I'm doing there. Patunk. Here's your line. Oh, a little drip of coolant, but whatever. Alright, so here's the part number for the tube I just got. It's a BC3Z-9U469-A. One tube. Here's the fitting, BC3Z-6A968-C. One connector. This is how I got a lot of those screws out. A little swivel head in the back. It'd be probably easier if you have a 8mm universal socket thing, my bobber, but I don't, so I went with what I got. So I had to put a socket on the end. Here's the fitting we're going after. That's a big one. It is a 19mm. So these have O-rings on them, so they don't have to go super tight. So this tube comes with a piece of rubber hose on there, so you know what I might do? I might just pull that rubber hose off and change all of it. That way I don't have to worry too much about the rubber degradation, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to pull the rest of that hose off, and I'll use this entire piece. Alright, so I'd recommend just taking the whole hose off, because that was way easier. just squeeze that there, and this thing locked back together again. I just grabbed the hose and pushed it off, and it came off a lot easier than fighting with the whole tube. So if I were to do that again, I would do it that way. I guess it's little things that you pick up along the way. So that tube comes with that plastic clip on there also. So let's stick the fitting in. Pretty flimsy feeling thing. Alright, I know you probably can't see, but I gotta clean that hole out there because there's dirt and crap in there where this O-ring sits. So let me get the vacuum out and we'll clean that out. Alright, so I vacuumed that out and clean that little seal. So I'll put this fitting in. There you go. So it's got the little clip in there. So basically you just got to get under one edge and kind of work it out because it just clips around. It's definitely not a very robust fitting. Very it's tight, right? I don't want to go too tight because, like I say, it's just kind of like tinny aluminum. I'm gonna break it. Oh. Shove that on. That go in. Well, I believe that's in there. Yeah, under the clip. So, very uneventful clip. Oh, he's all wrapped up in the hoses here. All right. I guess we're in. Snap that on. Let's see. I don't know if you'll see this hose. Yeah, you won't. But anyway, so the hose is on there. You saw me. I just pushed it on. If get this up. Sometimes these can be equally as difficult to unhook as they are to hook. There we go. Alright, so that's that. Hate to say it, but I'm pretty sure that that was the easiest part. So that's done. Let's figure out what we're gonna do about this. I probably gotta suck some of that soot out of there because I'm not really comfortable putting it back together like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to start digging at it and then loosen it up and then have a big chunk get sucked through because I started touching it. So maybe, yeah, I'll definitely get some of that bigger stuff out. I mean, there's like loose things there. All right. Let's see how far in this crap goes. Yeah. So that goes right in the intake. So it comes in. Here's your EGR recirculation right in here. And then right in there, up into the intake. And then over to here. I don't know. I'm really kind of nervous about starting to mess with it and dislodging something and having it getting stuck under a valve, because that's where it's going to go. It's under the valve if I get a big piece loose. Well, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do, and then we'll come back. Alright, these gaskets actually don't look bad. I'm going to change them anyway because I got them, but you know, none of them are real flat. They all stand up higher than the plastic of the intake, so I'm not, I mean, if I didn't get them, I wouldn't really have a problem reusing these, but like I said, I already got some, so I might as well just change them because I already got them. So these two are this part number, I don't know if you can read it, BC3Z-9439-C. That's these two. This little one here is BC3Z-9439-B. And this guy here is BC3Z-9439-A. There's your intake gaskets. Like I said, if I hadn't already got them, I wouldn't have a problem reusing these. Doesn't look like they're directional or anything. Yeah, I think they're the same. Hopefully they stay in there when I put the thing back in. It's such a pain to get this intake in there. Let's think if these fall out. Yeah, that one ought to stay. So I did clean a lot of the soot out. There was quite a bit in there. It's actually amazing how much was in there. I hope I don't lose those. So, I mean, even there's still some in there. There's a little line there. I'll probably scrape that out. I just went in there with a screwdriver to get most of the stuff out. But yeah, there was a lot. So I ended up cleaning this side right here, and I cleaned out the intakes into the head a little bit. I didn't go crazy in there. I just sucked out what came out, because if I lose a chunk in there, I'm gonna have a problem. So I don't really want to go too in depth into those, because those are kind of hardened in there. It's like baked on, and I don't want to start disturbing something that's gonna bite me later. So yeah, so I'm gonna wipe up this here, clean up the intake a little bit more, and then we'll put that upper intake back in. All right, so let's see if we can get this back in here without losing all my gaskets. Alright, I kind of put the corner of that up against the boot that was on this tube here, and that's kind of where I pressed, and that's where I got a little bit deflection, is where the boot was. So this, I don't know how I got it out. Up. So I went flat and pushed in, and we are in. Awesome. Just gotta wiggle it back to where it goes, and I guess it's in there. Huh, fell right in place. So
Rescue 3, we'll test my final one. Loud and clear.
see if I can get my finger under there. Feel if the gasket's still there. That one seems to be. There's two. I guess I got lucky. So let's start trying to get some of these screws back in. Let's see. That's this one. Two. Three. These two are same size, so it don't matter. And there, and there, and here. So I gotta get a couple of them started so it kind of locates itself. So the torque spec on all these bolts is 89 inch-pounds. I have no idea how I'm going to get the ones in the back. Just have to start and then hope it works out. So those are in. This guy here, this guy here. This one. Next to it. There. And that guy. So I had to leave that one over there in because it was hitting the firewall. It might have come out, but it was one of those things. It's like, why try to force it out if you don't have to? There's like, I think there's little rubber pieces inside these tubes here that kind of hold the bolts anyway. Like that one, I was able to flip upside down, it didn't fall out. I mean, if you got bad luck, it might fall out on you. But maybe not, because I got bad luck and it didn't fall out on me. So, yeah. Hopefully this is fixed and I don't have any more issues with that one for a little while. So this truck has probably about 80,000 miles on it. I'm just running them down kind of snug. I'm not even really snugging them. I'm just kind of going till they touch. 89 inch-pounds is not a lot. It wouldn't be so bad if this wasn't plastic and this wasn't plastic. It's like everything up here is plastic. You can't lean on anything without like breaking something. Tighten these. I must have. Those are all kind of snugged up. Hopefully I don't have harness or anything tucked in the way. It's gonna be good. So I don't know how well this is gonna show up on camera, but this is the torque sequence, and everything goes to 89 inch-pounds. So yeah, you ought to be able to get kind of, well, that's all right. You can see that, right? So that's a torque sequence. So we're gonna go along and torque them all to 89 inch-pounds. I'm not gonna do it on camera just because it's gonna take a while. So that's a sequence. That's how it goes. So if you're looking at the engine, right, is this it? Yeah, that's it. So that's the way it is in the engine. Alright, so I went along with this on the torque wrench. Now I know you don't get the most perfect torque spec with a universal joint, but I went back over the two I can reach with this, with just a regular torque wrench with a ratchet on it. Not a ratchet. I'm fumbling my words. So I'm retorquing them all. I already went through the procedure once, and I'm going through again just to make sure they're all torqued and none of them loosened up as you torque the rest of them. So I went back over and I started again. Now I used this for the first two, and I think those two in the back there, because I couldn't really get to them. And I'm checking them again, and the torque spec is still right where it's supposed to be. So I'm not, being it's such a small amount anyway, only 89 inch-pounds, I'm confident that this will work. Oh, I got the damn thing stuck on there. Alright, so I'm confident that you can use the universal joint, and if you don't want to, then don't. So yeah, so I'm going back over them again. So this upper right corner was number 1. This one's number 2. That one's number 2. Number 3 is this back corner over here. I know you can't exactly see what I'm doing, but I can't really follow around with the camera right now. For things like this, I like to go back over the torque procedure a second time, just to see if anything loosened up or moved. That's number 3. Just get rid of this thing. I'm not even using it. I don't know why it's there. So number 4 is the second one. Forward on this side. On the corner. I guess front corner. It's 4, 5 is the next one in. That's 5. And 6, they go to the back. I already checked that one, but 6 is the far back on the inside over here. 6. 7 is this front corner over here, underneath the dipstick tube. 8 is the one right next to it. 9 is the one in the back. On the inside. It's another thing with a swivel, it's kind of a pain to get the thing to stay on there. One's at 9. So 10 is on the point here. 10. 11. 12, 13, oops, this one's 14, 14, this guy's 15. All right, so those are all torqued. Put this clip back on. I think this is a map sensor. I'm not sure what it is. We got to put the 2 bolts on over here to bolt the dipstick tube down. If I can get you a view of it. So right there, that's where they bolt down. This one goes there, and then the other one bolts to the top of it. So I'm gonna put those on, and I think those are torqued to the same spec. It's I'm pretty sure they're close. I mean, I think it's 89 inch-pounds also, or 57 or something. They're not tight. Yeah, let's see if I can find it for you. The engine oil level indicator tube is 89 inch-pounds, and the transmission level indicator tube is 97 inch-pounds. So that's that. So I'm gonna get these on, and then just gotta fill it back up with coolant, and we should be done. Alright, so let me see if I can show you all the bolts. So you got that guy hidden back there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you just barely see it. You got these couple of guys right here. That guy right there underneath the line. And you got this one. This one. So two. That one there, that one, this one, this one, this one, that one, that one. Something down here, 1, 2, and then 3 in the corner, and then one over there underneath that wire. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway. So those are your bolts, and then I'm gonna go over and make sure all my hoses are clamped, and they are, and the line's in there. So we're all done. Let's put some coolant in it. It should be good. Alright, so it's all back together. I got coolant in it. I'm gonna run it, check for leaks and stuff. I don't really anticipate any, but yes, what I'm gonna do, this is the only part that concerns me the most, is if that radiator drain is going to seal. I know on my Dodge there was an O-ring in there, and once you let the coolant out, it didn't want to reseal, and I had to pull the center of the plug out. And you can either change the O-ring or just buy another piece. I think it was like $5 for the inserts, or you can just change the O-ring. Anyway, so hope that can help somebody. If not, let me know what I did wrong. And I thank you for watching. Have a nice day.